1. Welcome back, strangers. Hope you guys are excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. Ethan's not excited to be here because he's not here. But tonight we're going to be talking about dark video game stories and creepypastas and just general stuff. But instead of Ethan, tonight I am joined by Tringe and the Janitor 09, or just the Janitor. We don't know what we're going to call him yet. But
how's it going, guys?
That's them. For those who don't know, my name is Blake. I'm the editor and, well, one of the editors and voice of the Strangest. Nice to meet you if you didn't know, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
My name is Tringe. You can also call me Jacob. You may have seen me kind of bounce around the chat before in some of the past live streams, but I'm also working on a YouTube channel myself, so hopefully I'll have that up and running soon. But yeah, if you want to check out any of my other stuff, just check back later. I'll let you know when the YouTube channel's up. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
It's coming soon.
Just coming.
Soon enough. Yeah, soon enough. And I'm Ben, also known as the Janitor. On my Xbox Live name, you can add me. I don't actually remember the exact name, but anyway, I like to do stupid stuff with these guys, and I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel eventually. I don't know if I'm going to be speed running Mario Kart or all these other things, but I've got a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, and also the Janitor was in my the Halo series we did on Stay Strange, our gaming channel.
That was a debacle.
So his voice is in that.
That was terrible.
It was a struggle.
I think he's in a couple of your videos that are like further down. Like if you go to some of the oldest videos on Stay Strange, I think Ben's in some of those too.
Oh yeah,
it might be. We're always like, we have to find actors where we can get them. So Ethan would just show up to a party and film people. I was like, all right, I need you to look like a serial killer. I need you to look like a good job. You're doing it right. Okay, that's just your face. Okay. But no, it's great. Like it's really nice to be able to act out things. So it's cool to have people. And I actually have some coming up that I might need y'all's help on.
Yeah, man. I'm game. Let's do it. That's one thing I really like about the channel that you and Ethan have. The Strangest always does does the reenactments. So some of these YouTube channels, you just have these pictures that people talk over, but you guys actually give a much better visual compared to a lot of the other channels.
I like creepy stuff.
True that. Creepy stuff.
Creepy stuff is cool.
Creepy stuff is cool. That's why we're here.
Exactly.
Let me catch up on the chat real quick. How's it going? Naran McGuire. I always like saying his name. Stacy, good to see you as always. Ron, how's it going? Kareen, how's it going? Ghostwatch said, this sounds like an awesome topic, especially since I'm a collector. Hell yeah, man. It's good stuff. I like video games a lot. Most of the videos I put out completely by myself are video game related because that's like my niche, whatever you want to call it. Masudo-chan, good to see you. Kenneth, Soulish Jamie, how's it going? I always feel like I'm rambling, but it's good to see everybody here. Amanda's here, so good to see you,
Amanda noticed Paca's also hanging out with us.
We also have a cat.
He's the 4th member of our live stream tonight. His name is Paca. He is an asshole, but we like him anyway.
He enjoys long walks on the beach and licking himself.
Yeah, very much. So you guys get to look at a cat, and Navi will probably be walking around too. So you got all sorts of animals to choose from tonight. But who are we talking with today? This is Tringe and Janitor. They're my personal friends outside of YouTube and soon to be inside YouTube. That sounds weird.
Ooh.
Yeah. But how's it going, Johnny? April, I think I said Jamie and Kenneth. Okay, I think we're caught up. I think Mama Pink, we're good. Okay, good to see you. All right, so tonight we're supposed to be talking about dark video game stories and creepypastas. It was a struggle this week getting the stuff together, so it's probably going to be a lot of rambling, but that's what we do anyway. So we're just going to go through it. But just to start out, how long have you guys been into gaming?
Let me call my dad real quick and ask him when I first sat up. That's probably the answer. No, seriously though, probably since I was about 3 or 4 years old. The first video game that I have any recollection of playing is Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Still one of my favorite games of all time. I can remember actually getting to the point where I could figure out how to work the controls well enough to finish a level by myself without needing somebody's help. So it's a long time.
I would say for me, so I actually kind of have a distinctive memory of this. So I remember going, my parents split up when I was young, so I would go to my dad's house on like certain days of the week. And I went over one day and he bought a Sega Genesis and he had Sonic 2 playing or set up when I walked in the house. And anybody who knows me knows that I love Sonic. So like it was just like instant for me. Like that was the biggest draw in, and then from there I just went to Mario, to Crash Bandicoot, Halo, all of that stuff. I mean, I like everything.
Yeah, it's my first memory of a game was it was a pretty cutting edge game at the time. Very good graphics. Pong. Yeah.
Okay.
Followed by it might have
Nice.
been it was either Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man for the Atari 7800. I think we had a 78. I still got it. I can just look at it. But yeah, it's been a long time, and I've just been into it ever since. I had the original Game Boy, and it's been a blur.
Yeah,
Sorry, I forgot to call out Ryan. I was just looking at names.
Hello, Ryan.
And also, I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. I think this happened before. Is it Karen or Kareen? I think it's probably Kareen. Or
Probably
Karen.
Green,
I don't
if
know.
I had to guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really bad at names in general, or just pronunciation. Have you seen our videos? I mispronounce things all the time.
Yeah,
It's easy to do.
it is easy to do.
Yeah, Rebecca got on me for saying exanguate instead of exanguinate.
Wait, what does that even mean?
I know you're watching this after the fact, Rebecca. Shame on you.
Wait, what does that mean? I
It's
don't know.
to like to drain all of the blood from something. So it's a word I've never spoken aloud until that day. So,
That's
Rebecca, you wouldn't know what
That's
that word
understandable.
means.
so that's the strangest word of the day.
There we go.
Oh, it is Karen.
Can we do like a Pee Wee Herman thing where we just scream when we say the word of the day? You know.
I'm sorry, Karen. I'm sorry. I'll make a note to pronounce it right from now on. I promise. But yeah, so like I started on the Atari. Then I never actually had like my older sister had a Nintendo. I never got to play the NES and Super Nintendo until recently.
Oh.
I just jumped to the Nintendo 64.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was my big time. And also, speaking of Nintendo 64, I know I haven't told you, but hopefully this doesn't count as spoilers, and it might not even be real. But there's a lot of rumors about Banjo-Kazooie and Smash at E3, like a lot of credible sources.
I could die happy. I mean, there's a lot of things I want out of this life. And I feel like most of them aren't that difficult, but Banjo-Kazooie seems to be the one that I just can't have. So if we can make this happen, Nintendo, Microsoft, if for some reason you're watching this, you need to just make up whatever the issue is. Tell Rare to stop making bad games, and let's get a Banjo 3. Let's get Banjo and Smash. We can do this.
Well, I heard that there's gonna be another Banjo-Kazooie. Somebody told me that. Somebody said that it's in possible development, but I don't know.
Nuts and bolts too.
Oh god,
I'll kill myself. Actually, I think I might.
The theory was that Microsoft is coming out with another Banjo, and this was to cross promote.
That would be amazing.
That would be great. Microsoft needs to get off their ass and put Banjo and Smash. That's what I want more than anything.
And one of those leaks also said that Sora was going to be introduced.
That would be cool.
Going to be a double whammy. Really, that's anyone I could ever care about.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah. So let's get back to the script that I just sort of bullshitted. So, do you guys believe in the paranormal at all? And if so, what do you believe in?
I'll let Ben go first.
Oh well. Jeez, thank you. No, I do. I do believe in the paranormal. I've had a couple of experiences. I don't know how much time we have today. Maybe I can go into detail on that later. But yeah, no, I do. I think that there are definitely plenty of things that are. I guess you could call them unexplained, maybe. But there's a lot of like funny things that happen, and I think there's too many like. It's like aliens. There's too much. There's too much of the universe for there not to be more, for there not to be. I mean, we clearly don't understand half the things we think we do, and I think paranormal really falls under that. It's like you can't see it, but that doesn't exactly mean it's not there. I think, if anything, that should make it even more interesting in that respect. So, I mean, I definitely do.
Yeah, as humans, we so stupid.
We so dumb.
We don't know nothing. We just here.
The ape man, me poke with stick.
Exactly. What about you, Tringe?
So, I definitely think that there are unexplained things out there. I don't know that I believe in ghosts per se, but that's just because I personally have never had an experience. I've had things happen to people in my family and things that have happened to my friends, but at the same time, when you hear people talk about the experiences they have had, that they usually speak with such enthusiasm that it's kind of hard not to believe that they at least believe they saw what they think they saw. But who am I to judge? But if you look at the other side, like Ben brought up aliens, I do think there are aliens out there. The universe is just way too expansive. It's just huge. Our minds can't even possibly fathom how large the universe is. So I do think that there's something else out there besides us. I think that it's more terrifying to think that there's not something else out there than to think that there is.
No, I agree. It's no one wants to be alone.
No, we want to be the only ones, because once we finally destroy this planet, we're gonna need somebody to help us out, and hopefully the aliens will be cool and come down and be like, "Hey, we got like an Earth 2, come with us."
What are the odds, though?
Everyone's like,
what are the odds that the aliens are actually friendly, though? But what's our over/under on that? Like, let's.
I'm afraid. I think it's because I try to compare aliens to ourselves. I'm afraid they're going to be like us, and they just want resources.
Could be.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they have the technology to reach us, they probably have the technology to bypass resources anyway.
That's true.
I don't know. I've just seen there's not a whole lot of good alien movies where they're friendly. So it's they got E.T. or you've got any other movie, literally any other movie. So yeah. So Johnny said I was going to say the audio is a little hard to hear, but then I looked at my volume and it was at 25%. I'm glad that's the problem.
Yeah, me too.
Because we're going to struggle. I'm alone because Blake doesn't like me. I do. I love everyone.
Why don't you like Stacy?
I like everyone. It's good. I'm like the strangest Santa.
Stacy, what did he do to you?
Who hurt you? So, but yeah, I'm the same way. Like I've always believed in aliens. Paranormal, I didn't until recently. And I like you're saying, everyone's always so so enthusiastic about what they, their experiences, and I'm like, and I've always just been in the back of my mind, like, oh, that's really cool. You're a little crazy though. And then it happened to me, and I was like, oh my god. Because when you have experiences like that, it's like, what else is real?
Right.
It's like, is my life just a joke to you?
Exactly.
Like my entire worldview is changing. So I don't know. I definitely, it's getting to the point now where it's starting to like, the experience is kind of starting to fade, and it's like I need to go back and renew it and like find out what was really going on.
Right.
It opens the door, man. It really does. Like it's like you experience one thing, and then it just opens the door to all these other thoughts, and then your brain just starts racing to, man, what about this? What about this? Maybe you've had an experience in the past where it was just like, now that almost seems kind of, I understand it better. Like it didn't make sense at the time, but now you're just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to that, something more to that,
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. We should think about how insignificant you are too in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. We're just here.
Yeah.
And we haven't been here that long.
Yeah. Exactly.
No. So back to video games. What is each of your favorite video games of all time?
Oh man. This man's asking some bangers.
Got to get to the real. People want to know.
So
I want to know.
For me, I think my all-time favorite video game is probably Majora's Mask. I'm a really big Ocarina of Time fan. I can certainly see why people like Ocarina of Time above Majora's Mask. But for me, the dark element that surrounds the whole game just really brings the whole thing home and just makes it just a solid knockout 10 out of 10 game.
What about you, Janitor?
Oh man, it's like trying to pick a favorite kid. I don't know.
It's like trying to pick a favorite kid. I don't have one.
Not that I have kids, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's like picking your favorite Beatle. Nobody picks Ringo, but like,
Poor Ringo.
Poor Ringo.
Nobody picks Superman for the Nintendo 64.
Right? Yes, Ringo is like Superman. You would never hear that anywhere else but here. I don't know. I would probably say it would be a tie, I think. As much as I love Sonic, I think that it's either Banjo-Kazooie or Super Mario 64 for me.
Solid.
I would say one of those two. Those made a huge impression on me.
What about you? What's your favorite?
Yeah.
Mine, for the most of my life, has always been Majora's Mask. I didn't like it at first because I don't know if anyone else is familiar in the chat with Majora's Mask, but it has a time limit, and I have anxiety, and I never liked the countdown feature. But once I learned that you could slow shit down, I was
exactly
about it. And Ocarina of Time was amazing too. Like that's a close second. But Breath of the Wild, when I finished it, I thought that may have taken the number one. I think it's really, it's still neck and neck, really, in retrospect. But Majora's Mask is amazing. I love it a lot. It's funny that all of our favorite games are from the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Considering 15 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the whole game's
nostalgia thing.
Yeah, old games, they're just hard to beat.
Yeah.
Like I would even you mentioned Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I'd even throw Wind Waker in there.
I've never played Wind Waker, but I do.
Really?
Oh man, it's so
good. It's good. Wind Waker's good. It's a little different.
I downloaded it for the Wii U.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
So
Mama Pink said Rayman 2 is
Rayman
game.
2 was awesome.
Rayman 2 is a great
Rayman 2 was so hard though.
Skyrim is so hard to beat. It's
Skyrim. I got so overwhelmed.
There's so much to do.
Yeah, I'm not good at open world games. Of course, I like Breath of the Wild, but open world games, it's like, what do I do?
Right.
I'm just gonna go try to kill people and hope I don't die, and I always die.
Deus Ex. I never played Deus Ex. I heard that game was really good, but I've never played it.
Wait, which one?
Deus Ex.
Oh, I haven't played that. I've heard a lot about it though. Spyro, absolutely.
I always wanted to
hang on, fam.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
You got your
I got your Spyro, man. All about some Spyro. I love Spyro.
Well, I don't have anything relevant. All I've got is this. I've got the little Bindi. Not a favorite game, but I like it.
I have this cat.
It's a live pop figure. Yeah, like Majora's Mask. We were going to talk about some creepypastas with Majora's Mask, but it's literally, it could make like 10 videos on its own.
Yeah, it's pretty deep.
Yeah. So one thing I did want to talk about is, have you heard the theory that Majora's Mask is actually the 5 or 7 levels of grief or something like that?
I think I have heard something like that. One of the theories is that Link is actually dead in the game. That he died. He died during the events of Ocarina of Time, and that caused the events to unfold for Majora's Mask, and that he's going through the stages of death. So that's a pretty interesting theory. Yeah,
and there's even the part of the beginning where he falls in the giant hole. Mm-hmm. So that could have killed him. Who knows?
True. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, throughout the game, I mean, it's all about death, and kind of like the first day, everyone's like yelling at the moon that's about to crash into the earth. They're like, it's not going to fall. This is bullshit. The second day, they're like, it's getting kind of close. Can someone save us? And the third one, they're like, you know what? It's all right. We're just going to die.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And it's just so wild how dark they made that game, considering that it's marketed towards children. And there's if you go to the Swordmaster's house on the last day of that game, there's a sign up that says that he decided to flee town, but there's a door that you can break, and if you break the door and go through it, he's actually inside laying on the floor crying, saying, I don't want to die. It's like super, super dark for a children's game.
And I think that's why it's not as popular as it should have been, because so many kids are traumatized by it.
I mean, think about that though. Like all the stuff, like we're all specific, right about the same age. I mean, you talk about that being a game that's very dark. I mean, look at like Courage the Cowardly Dog or something.
That's true.
All that kind of like there was and then the Rugrats theory, all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's just so much like dark undertones of some of the stuff we used to grow up on.
Right.
It's interesting.
That's a video I'd like to do, like cartoon theories.
That'd be a good one.
The Rugrats one is really dark.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if I've heard that theory.
Whew. It's about basically Angelica's the only one that's actually there. Like all the babies are just figments of her imagination.
Interesting.
Yeah, it gets dark.
Yeah, it does.
That's pretty cool. Used to watch a ton of Rugrats as a kid.
What about Ratchet and Clank? I've never played the full game. My sister had a PlayStation that I'd go play, and I liked it when I played it. Mm-hmm. But I never really got on the PlayStation train that much.
Are we talking OG Ratchet and Clank, or are we talking PS4 Ratchet and Clank?
I was PS2 Ratchet and Clank.
PS2 Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
I played the first Ratchet and Clank on the PS2. That one was really good. That was a fun game. But the one that came out for the PS4, that's kind of like, it's not really a remake or a remaster of the original game. It's kind of a reimagining of the original story from Ratchet and Clank. And that game is phenomenal. It's one of the only games where as soon as I saw the credits roll and finished the game, I immediately started a second playthrough because of how good the game was.
Damn.
It's phenomenal.
I can check that out.
I do too.
It's a really good game.
I need to check that out. Ghostwatch said I never beat Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, but they're great. They're long games. Like there's so much.
They are indeed.
Ocarina of Time was just it was so good.
Yeah,
I beat that one. I never beat Majora's Mask. Like you said, the timer thing threw me off, and I do have anxiety. So it's like when I was playing, I was just like, oh shit, no. And then you die and the moon comes down, and it's just like, all right, I'm going to play another game now.
Yeah, you should try it on the 3DS. It's got a lot better features.
It's true.
See you later, Mom Pink. Hope you had a good time. Glad to have you here. She said she's visiting family for her niece's graduation.
It was Y30. I hear you.
Woo!
Hey.
Also, someone asked where Ethan and Rebecca were earlier. They are on vacation, so they won't be back next week either. So we'll be doing something. We'll probably be doing something song related. Hopefully, we'll talk about that later.
I'm Ethan. This is Rebecca.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to go with it. That's sassy in the background.
We're like alternate Ethan and Rebecca.
Yeah.
This is another dimension. Yeah, this isn't real.
I'll make a mask for next time. Just hold the mask in front of my face the whole stream.
Right.
Speaking of creepy, did you guys watch the Disney video by chance?
I did. I watched.
How'd you like that? That's pretty creepy, right?
It was pretty creepy.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was a fun one to make. I had a lot of fun with the beginning of it.
I knew that a lot of Disney stories had a bit of a darker kind of origin story, but I did not know anything about the Pinocchio origin story. That was super interesting to find out about. Because I think it's Sleeping Beauty, the original story. She does not get kissed.
She doesn't.
It's much darker than that. And she actually carries children full term while she's still unconscious and wakes up to the children breastfeeding on her. It's wild.
It's messed up.
If you guys don't know the original Sleeping Beauty story, you gotta Wikipedia that, look it up or something, because it is crazy.
I mean, Walt Disney is cryogenically frozen underneath. It's a small world after all. So come on, let's be real.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's a lot of Disney theories. But yeah, we are doing a part 2, maybe even a part 3 sometimes.
Nice.
There's so many stories that are just so dark.
Very nice.
But yeah, it's a good time. So shook.
Fan.
So what is your favorite arcade game, like on an arcade machine or just in general?
I don't know that I have a favorite one. The Simpsons game for the arcade is a classic for sure.
I've always seen that, and I've never actually played it.
It's pretty good. It's like a side-scroller, beat-em-up type game, but it's pretty good. But if you think even more classically than that, I would probably say something like Galaga or Space Invaders. Those are, you can't beat the originals. I mean, well, you can, but they're still pretty good given the technology they had at the time.
I always really liked Galaga. That was one of my favorites.
Galaga was nice. I'm gonna go with the classic. I really enjoyed Mr. Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
That's hard to beat that.
Mr. Pac-Man.
I mean, they made so much money on that just by putting a bow on Pac-Man.
Yeah.
It's like,
new
game.
If you thought Pac-Man was extreme, wait till you meet his wife.
Waka waka.
Now with more pink bow, more cherries, less ghosts. Actually, it's the same amount of ghosts.
Actually, it's the same game. Just
there's nothing different.
Pixels.
We added misses to the beginning.
Sorry, janitor. Whatever. Amanda wants to know if you want her to make a beer run. So I'll let you.
Yes,
that.
I will never say no to that.
Yeah. Let's see here. So the reason we talked about that is because I wanted to know if you've ever heard of, I'm probably mispronouncing it, but Polybius.
Polybius. I do know about
Polybius.
Do you know about Polybius?
This is one you're going to have to educate me on. I got a little bit to learn about this one.
Oh, boy.
I'll educate the world.
Let's do it.
This is just a short summary.
Okay.
But, Polybius is an urban legend about a rare arcade game released in 1981. The game was created by a mysterious company called something. It's like Sinnesdeletion. It's German.
Yeah, some German word. Yeah.
It's German for sense deletion. And it was a puzzle shoot 'em up, somewhat like Tempest. It was only released in a few suburbs of Portland, Oregon. It was supposedly very popular, with people forming very long lines to play it. However, people reported strange things about the game, such as hearing a woman crying and seeing grotesque faces out of the corner of their eyes. Players would also have nightmares, experience nausea, headaches, blackouts, or even develop amnesia. Some even committed suicide. Others stopped playing video games altogether, and at least one became an anti-video game activist.
Oh, geez.
Whoa.
According to one owner of an arcade, men wearing black suits would often come to collect records from the game. They didn't take any money, simply data from the gameplay. Because of this, the leading theory is that it was some sort of government experiment using subliminal messages. the game remains in obscurity as around 1 month after its release, all the cabinets suddenly disappeared. One cabinet reappeared in an arcade in 1998, but it quickly disappeared again. While some have tried to recreate the game, no one has actually found the original ROM. And there are also theories that it might have been connected to the MK Ultra program.
Interesting.
Yeah. So do you think it was a normal game? Do you think it was run by the government? Do you think it existed?
Well, I think it's definitely possible. I mean, you have to think the government's going to, I know they're listening, but the government's going to sneak their claws into anything they possibly can to try to learn anything.
True.
If they think there's any sort of possibility to manipulate somebody's mind or emotions with just a video game, they're going to figure out a way to do it, and they're going to try it out. I mean, they used pigeons to targeting systems for missiles, for God's sake. They'll mess with a video game too, and that's really, look that up. That actually happened. So yeah, I absolutely think that Polybius was a possibility, especially when you're talking very early 80s when video gaming was still very new, kind of up and coming, and it's something that they would have wanted to get their hands into to try to find a way to use it to their advantage.
Try to shape the youth.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like we've learned so much about our government over the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Since we have access to more information now. It wouldn't surprise me, especially with it being like gaming at the time was a newer type of technology.
Sure.
And so I guess they were trying to kind of get in on the ground floor, and knowing that a lot of other people probably didn't realize what was going on at the time,
right,
or how that would work. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, no, it wouldn't. I think that I think the government does all kinds of weird stuff about gaming, movies,
definitely.
and things like that, subliminal messaging, that kind of ties into that theory. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past them at all.
Right, exactly. How do you feel about it?
I think they definitely did. I mean, if it existed, it's definitely they were using it for nefarious purposes. Because the government, I don't trust them. I'm gonna die soon for saying that. I don't trust them.
Yeah, Amanda, yes, to answer your question, please.
Yeah. And then
have you guys watched Chernobyl on HBO? I have not seen.
I was going to start that. I was thinking about starting that the other day.
Is that good, Electra?
I haven't seen it either, but I've heard really good things about it. I've heard it's actually really rough to watch. Like, it's a good horror show.
Oh, really? I'll have to check that out.
We need to watch that.
Check that out.
I need to get HBO Go. I don't have it. So
we don't either.
I had it for Game of Thrones, and then I canceled it. That's all I really
like 90% of America.
Yeah. I wanted to see the graph of that. I saw it when they were talking about like Game of Thrones, ending. They were like, watch the sales for HBO Go just plummet.
Oh man, yeah. Maybe Chernobyl is that next thing.
Could be.
It's like how after Breaking Bad, you kind of had like, I guess it kind of transcended into Game of Thrones. I know Game of Thrones has been around almost as long as Breaking Bad had.
It was out for almost 10 years because there was a couple of times where we went quite a while without any new episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, After Dark Analysis, how's it going? Glad you're here. Ryan said she has seen it. It's really good. Oh, hey, PSPR, how's it going? Good to see you. Electra said, I just finished watching it and I almost cried since my parents got married about 9 days after the disaster, so the whole show really hit home for me.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's something I've always wanted to do a video on too. Like it's such a messed up topic.
It is. Yeah. I've talked to people about it before. I've actually done a lot of research on it. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like that specific area, there's no way, like nothing can be there for years. I don't know what the half-life of what was it? Just like radioactive waste,
just
essentially.
Radioactive material, I guess.
I was talking to our friend Ryan Dotson about that recently, and he was saying like the half-life for it made it unlivable for at least 80 more years, I think.
Wow.
Something like that. So
I saw on Facebook something they were talking about like rehoming Chernobyl dogs, and it's like,
Yeah, that's okay.
No thanks.
Not yet. Like, give it a while because there's still like if I am pretty sure it's still there. I don't think it could have possibly been taken away, but the most radioactive like waste on the planet is in the Chernobyl reactor, and it's called the elephant's foot.
Oh, okay.
And you can't even get near it. Like you have to have like so much protective gear on.
Wild.
It's insane.
Hey, Joey's here. Hello, Joey.
Hey, Joey, how's it going? Y'all are early. Yeah, we're doing it a little bit early because I don't know. I just felt like doing it early.
Because fuck you, that's why.
This is my time. Yeah, Ethan and Rebecca are gone, and I was just like, you know what? We'll do it early. Then I'll have more time to drink tonight, forget my woes. It'll be a good
That's
time.
right.
So, are you guys, this is a stupid question, I already know the answer, but are you guys familiar with Pokemon?
Pokemon.
No, I don't think so. What is that? What is a Pokemon?
It's something, I don't know, something, a little monster in your pocket. It's kind of weird.
That sounds
Pokemon.
kind of strange.
Pokemon.
Honestly.
Yes, I think I've heard of these Pokemans.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, are you familiar with Lavender Town from Pokemon?
Yes.
It's one of the best places in the games.
Yeah, did it creep you out as a kid? Was it weird?
It did. It was a little disturbing. Yes,
Yeah,
my first visit there, that little do 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 do. It gets under your skin a little bit.
It does. Well, are you familiar with Lavender Town Syndrome?
I've heard of it.
Yes, I've heard of it.
But we have to tell the viewers about it because chances are not everyone knows about Lavender Town Syndrome.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about it, and we actually did a video on it before if you guys want to go watch that after this. Can't do it yet, but after this. And it seemed like a good thing for the topic, so we'll talk about it. But the Lavender Town Syndrome, also known as Lavender Town Tone or Lavender Town Suicides, was a peak in suicides and illness of children between the ages of 7 to 12, shortly after the release of Pokemon Red and Green in Japan back in February 27, 1996. Rumors say that these suicides and illnesses only occurred after the children playing the game reached Lavender Town, whose theme music had extremely high frequencies that studies showed only certain children and young teens could hear, since their ears are more sensitive. Due to the Lavender Town tone, at least 200 children supposedly committed suicide, and many more developed illnesses and afflictions. The children who committed suicide usually did so by hanging or jumping from heights. Those who did not acted irrationally, complained of severe headaches and other symptoms after listening to the Lavender Town's theme. Although Lavender Town sounds differently now, depending on the game, the mass hysteria was caused by the first Pokemon game released. After the Lavender Tone incident, the programmers had fixed Lavender Town's theme music to be at a lower frequency, and since children were no longer affected by it, they kept producing it. One video appeared in 2010 using special software to analyze the audio of Lavender Town's music. When played, the software created pictures of the unknown Pokemon, which hadn't even been released yet.
Oh, wow.
And near the end of the audio, yeah. So it raised controversy since the unknown, which are letter Pokemon, each one's a different letter, when they played the music, it spelled out "leave now." So now that's a creepypasta. So it's the suicide stuff. It's never really been confirmed. It's most likely fabricated. But the tones are real.
They are.
So it could be, I mean, some creepypastas are based on truths we've never known. Nintendo definitely wouldn't want it to be known, but they changed it for some reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, there was something that they didn't like being out there.
Yeah. So do you believe it? You think it's real, or?
I think it's certainly a possibility. I mean, I've heard reports before of people who have felt, well, I mean, if you look at it this way, I mean, if music can put you in a good mood, who's to say that it can't put you in a bad mood to the point to where you can actually feel depressed or get to the point where you feel physically ill? So I do think that it's very possible.
Definitely. And another thing that kind of adds validity to it, I used to experiment with the high tones thing. Like I noticed that when I was probably 18, I had a dog whistle app on my phone. And one time I was in the living room and I was just hitting it, and the dog was like freaking out because I'm an asshole. But my older sister, who was 28 at the time to 30 something, I don't know, she couldn't hear it, but my sister and I could. And she was like, "You're bullshitting. You can't hear that." And I was like, "All right, Brittany, my twin sister, I got her to go to the other side of the house, and I didn't tell her when I was going to hit the button, but I was like, yell when you hear me hit it." And my other sister was sitting right next to me, and I'd hit it. She'd be like, "Now, now, now." So she could hear it across the house. My sister sitting next to me couldn't hear it at all. And now that I'm older, I can't hear the same tones that I used to hear.
Yeah.
So it's like after you hit 25, I think your frequencies, you're not able to pick them up anymore.
Wow.
And that was one of my paranormal theories as well, is that, they say that babies and dogs can see things that we can't. It's like, who's to say that, once you get older, you just can't see the same spectrum? You can't hear
True,
the same.
yeah.
You can't hear the same things that you used to. What if every time you get a ringing in your ear is actually something trying to communicate with you?
Yeah, very possible.
Something's been screaming at me for a couple years. Then.
Yeah, living with tinnitus is a bitch.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, it's always been an interesting thing for me. But yeah, go watch our video on that after this. It's a pretty good one. I liked it. We actually acted it. I got my niece to act it out, so she's been in a lot of our videos. Whenever I need a kid, boy or girl, I just get my niece to do it.
There you go.
Free labor.
You know, you can actually, I've seen where companies, apparently a lot of gas stations do this, but you can buy these little speaker boxes that like gas stations, convenience stores will put outside that just emit high frequencies, and it does two things. Apparently, it keeps animals away from the store to keep animals from trying to come inside, and it's such a high frequency that it gives children and teenagers headaches to keep kids from trying to congregate outside the store and just like hanging out. So that is a device you can actually buy. The same way you can buy a similar device for dogs that bark too. If your neighbor has a bunch of dick dogs that bark constantly, you can put up this little, it looks like it's actually super sneaky. It looks like a birdhouse, but it just emits a small frequency that only the dogs can hear, and it keeps them from barking. So I mean, there's definitely some truth into the higher pitch, you know, with younger people being able to hear it for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go to Walmart, you can find rodent repellent and even spider repellents that are just frequencies.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Really?
they work.
Pay attention to that.
Yeah, I don't know how well they work. I've never tried it, but
Neither have I.
they're a thing. So
I think you just plug them into the wall, right, and then it just emits the frequency.
yeah,
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that is
pretty
pretty neat.
yeah. So back to before I go, you're fine, Stacey. I'm just messing with you back. You're good. We're all Slumber has a premiere at 8. That's probably when we're going to end. So you guys can jump from us and go to him, or you can just watch other videos of us. You know, we just do things. The spider ones don't work. Yeah, I'd never tried it. I don't want to just have to test it by getting spiders and just putting them in front of it.
That just terrifies me. You just made me you sent a cold shiver down my spine. Like I can do snakes, I can do cockroaches, I can do anything. I will not do spiders. I will not.
We can talk about demons. We can talk about ghosts. I've swung with them, sister.
Yeah. Just don't talk about spiders.
Talk about spiders.
If it's got 8 legs, I draw the line at 8 legs.
I don't like anything that has too many legs or not enough legs. It's like if it's got less than one leg, which does anything just have one leg? I gotta Google that. I don't like anything with one leg or
tonight.
one or under or 5 or more. Not a big fan.
One leg.
What has one leg?
Blackbeard. I don't know.
Besides humans.
Besides humans.
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of spiders either. But back to the Lavender Town, there is another theory. I don't know if you've heard. Have you heard of the Gary's Eradicate theory?
I am familiar with Gary's.
No, I don't know this one. What's this?
Ben, you might enjoy this one.
Okay.
So it makes a lot of sense. So Gary is an ignorant Pokemon trainer. If you don't know, he's the rival to your character. And people always wondered, like at the start of the game, he had a Rattata, and then it turns into Eradicate, and then suddenly, midway through the game, it just disappears. He doesn't use it anymore. Well, the player character encounters and fights Gary several times throughout his or her journey. And since Pokemon's a game that revolves around capturing and training Pokemon, both characters' Pokemon will grow as the game progresses. Every Pokemon trainer has favorites, though, and that includes Gary. His lineup changes little throughout the Pokemon games, with one exception. About midway through the game, you battle Gary on a ship called the SS Anne. His team includes a level 19 Pidgeotto, a level 16 Raticate, a Kadabra, and a level 20 version of whatever starter Pokemon he chose. Now, most of the Pokemon are the evolved forms of the Pokemon he fought you with earlier in the game, including a Rattata that became a Raticate before your battle on the SS Anne. However, the next time you meet Gary, his Raticate's gone. Instead, he has a level 25 Pidgeotto, a level 23 Gyarados, a Growlithe, Kadabra, but what happened to Raticate? So some people think that the answer lies in the location of the struggle against Gary, the Pokemon Lavender Town Tower. The Pokemon Tower is infamous for being a Pokemon graveyard, and whereas the player visits the location to investigate a haunting, it's not clear why Gary's there. Some fans assume that Gary's in the Pokemon Tower to visit the grave of his missing Pokemon to Raticate. But if that's the case, how did Raticate die? According to a popular theory, Raticate was badly hurt in the battle on the SS Anne, and because of the confusion on board the ship, he wasn't able to get to a Pokemon Center fast enough to heal Raticate, which resulted in the rodent's death. In fact, some fans claim that when Gary meets the player in Pokemon Tower, Gary asks, "Do you know what it's like to have a Pokemon die?" So,
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't even think about that.
I don't think he says that in the English version, so that must be with the Japanese version. Because in the English version, this tells you how much Pokemon I played that I can remember almost verbatim what he says. But he says, "What are you doing here? Your Pokemon don't look dead, but I can at least make them faint." So maybe they did change the translation from the Japanese version.
Makes you wonder. So you murdered a Pokemon and didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it.
Yeah, I always thought that was a pretty cool theory. Pretty sad, but pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a cool theory. And then Raticate comes back to haunt you if you're a child by playing high-pitched tones as you walk through Lavender Town and gets its revenge.
It's all coming together.
You killed it, it's going to kill you back. And
the only evidence to any of this is underneath the truck. And it's before you get on the SSN. That's a theory that really fucked me up as a kid.
Same.
The Mew truck, because I didn't find out about it until the SSN had already taken off, and you can't get back there after it only one-time event. And oh man, there was theories because back then you didn't have the internet. All you had were kids telling you bullshit.
Yeah.
And in the anime, in the anime, you get on the ship and they go to like the giant Pokemon island. And they were like, "Yeah, you go to the truck. There's a Mew under there, and then you get to go to the island." And that was like my favorite episode, and I was so distraught. But it fucked me up, fam. Fucked me up.
Yeah, for real.
It's so strange that they put it there. If you go back and play the remakes that just came out, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, the truck is actually there, and they paid homage to the original games by putting the truck back. But there's only two ways to access it in the original games because you have to have cut to progress through the game, and you get a move called Cut. For those who don't know that much about Pokemon, because you actually have a life, you get this move called Cut on the SSN, and you need that to progress in the game. But once you have Cut and you step off of the boat goes away. But if you have someone trade a Pokemon to you that knows the move Cut, the boat will never leave because you didn't have to actually get it on the boat. Another way to do it is to be beaten in battle so that you get teleported to a Pokemon Center to heal up. And then you can go back and surf on a Pokemon to the truck. And so it was just a bed of lies.
That's a struggle. I never even thought about the not trading a Pokemon that already knew Cut. That's pretty intense.
My cousin and I used to do that because we would accidentally, well, I guess we could have done it that way, but if you accidentally beat all the trainers before you get Cut, then there's nothing you can do to make yourself faint out of the ship.
It's all coming back to me.
Next week on Pokemon Podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So we'll change the subject a little bit. What is the creepiest game you've ever played? It's creepiest, scariest.
Because I was thinking about that earlier today, and I don't remember. There's this one. I'm trying to remember what game I was thinking about. I will say that the one specific part in Halo when you have to fight the flood and they're just coming at you around the corners and stuff.
Talk about anxiety.
I used to be so on edge. I'd be playing and my mom would just be like, "It's dinner time," or just be like, "No,
fuck you, Mom."
Yeah, and I would just, and I turned back at the screen. There was just flood in my face, and I used to just like, oh man, that used to mess with me bad.
Yeah, that was a big moment for me when I was a kid. I had I'm really bad about spoiling things for myself, but back then that was completely a surprise.
Yeah,
it's just you go through the whole game just running over all these enemies, and then suddenly it's like, what? What happened?
What is this? This thing that won't die?
Demons that are trying to chase me down. There's just an endless wave. They never stop coming.
And when you start, when it happens, it's got this creepy music going, and you're walking through these halls, and you see Marines that are dying or going crazy, they sound like crazy, and they're the thing, it came, it ate everyone, it took everyone, and then
there's that one soldier left over who's still shooting at you. He's like, "Get away! You're one."
Yeah. And then you turn the corner and you hear glass breaking. And then next thing you know, all these little things just start crawling out from the doorways. Oh man, that fucked me up as a kid, man. That was wild.
Outlast is one of the creepiest games I've played. I haven't played that, but I've heard of it. So Outlast is good. You're saying
I have it downloaded. I'm gonna play it eventually.
What is it for?
It's the PC. It might be on Xbox. I don't know. I think
I'll check that out.
It's a horror game.
Good video for the channel, at least for the Stray.
Definitely.
The Stray Strange.
Stay Strange.
Stay Strange channel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I should have linked that. If anyone wants to, we've got the gaming channel, Stay Strange. Check that out, and then I'm also gonna have to link Trench's YouTube, and then Ben's gonna have a YouTube. We'll keep you guys in touch with that.
Yes.
But yeah. Did you say what your creepiest one was, Jake?
So I think one of the creepiest games that I've played is two come to mind, but I think the one that's creepier, as simple as the game is, there's I actually know that you've played it. So the Slenderman game for PC, where you have to walk around and collect the notes. That's an anxiety-inducing game right there. It's not so much. I guess it's a little scary. It kind of gets under your skin a little bit, but it's more of the panic that sets in. It's just, you know, he's behind you, you know something's gonna happen, but you can't stop moving, and you have this flashlight that only has a limited amount of batteries in it, and once you use up those batteries, that's it, boy. You got to figure out the rest in the dark. So,
hang on, I need to go take my anxiety medication.
Yeah, it's rough. I played it on a live stream, and I was just freaking out the whole time. And the bad thing is, like, I have a zombie that's dressed like Slender Man for Halloween, and I had it behind me, and I forgot about it. And I, like, in the chat, they were like, "He's behind you! He's behind you! I just saw him!" And I looked behind me in the game. I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean? Where was he at? Where was he at? Where you saw him?"
Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah, I haven't played that many horror games myself because I'm a little bitch, so I can't handle it. But my fiance wanted to play the latest Resident Evil. I see Willie Kane just said, yeah, Dead Space, Resident Evil, and Half-Life. Resident Evil, the newest one, it's a pretty creepy game. For those who aren't familiar, you get trapped on this, like, I guess you could call it a farm or just piece of land with this like backwoods family that just do some super strange stuff, like eating people, and they live in filth. It really gets under your skin. It's just such a dark, creepy undertone for the whole game. That one's pretty freaky too.
Ooh, Electra Heart just said that Outlast is on the Xbox. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna dive into that. I'm gonna have to play that.
Be a good one for your channel.
Don't fuck with Slender Man. He scares me far too
much.
Oh
yeah, I know. Blake's the one that got me into the whole Slender Man theory because we were talking about it one day. I don't remember. It's been 10 years maybe.
We also have a video on Slender Man.
I've seen that one. Yeah, yeah.
That was a fun one.
That was a cool video.
Yeah, Willie, I've actually started playing Half-Life on the side channel, and Half-Life is creepy. Half-Life 2 is even creepier, I think, because Half-Life 2, you got like Ravenholm and fast zombies. Fast zombies are scary.
They are.
But I think the scariest game I've ever played, it's probably, I'm trying to think of the side channel. It's probably Paranormal. It's like a Paranormal Activity inspired game, but it's randomly generated. So every time you play, it's something different.
Oh, that's cool.
That is pretty neat. I like that.
Yeah, I haven't played that. I have to check that out.
It's really creepy. It's a fun time playing it. Navi is really restless right now. But,
I saw her pacing around behind you earlier.
Yeah.
Peanut butter.
Ryan said, "What do you mean I wanted to play it? I'm well into it." So.
Well, I meant I started playing it because you wanted to play it. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the reason I played it. Otherwise, I would not have played it on my own.
Yeah.
I think Grant was playing it for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Getting into horror games is kind of tough. At first, I was a big pussy about it, but it's actually it's become one of my favorite genres. I really enjoy it now. I like getting scared. So
I do too, man. Unfortunately, I feel like as I've gotten older, it seems like less scares me now, and that kind of upsets me because it's like I miss being legitimately terrified by something. And I haven't seen anything. The last movie that really like legitimately scared me that I can remember is the first Inception movie. No, not Inception.
I know what you're talking about. Insidious.
We have to go deeper.
We have to go deeper. There's like 3. You just don't know it yet.
Are you talking about Insidious?
Yes, Insidious. That movie freaked me the hell out.
That's a wild movie.
The Darth Maul scene behind his head got me. Like, oh my god!
I still don't forgive him for Qui-Gon.
Yeah. See, the thing that gets me is like most horror movies. I love horror. That's my favorite genre. Of movie. But it's like I've gotten to the point where I'll be watching it and I'm just like, all right, this is about to happen. Basically, there's rules to horror movies, and we've played a drinking game like to each of the stereotypes. But if someone looks out a window, slowly a bird's going to hit it. It's not going to be. It's probably not going to be. It's either the killer's going to pop up or a bird's going to hit it.
Yeah.
If they walk towards a door, something's going to come up behind them. If it's always about misdirection. If you hear violins, run.
If there's or banjos.
What's that?
Or banjos.
Banjos.
Yeah, that's a whole other genre.
Turn back.
And I lost my train of thought. Oh, also, if there's like a corridor, this is something I've learned by horror movies too. If there's like a dark corridor behind you, a hand is going to come out and grab your shoulder, and it's actually 90% of the time going to turn out to be like the main character's best friend, or like an ally or something.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like
talking about, hey man, what's going on? You all right? You getting jumped?
Hey, did I scare you? It's like, no shit.
Whoa,
You scared
what's
me.
wrong? Huh, you got to lay off the horror movies and stop staying up. So like, you're the first one to die, Phil. You're the first one that's going to die in this movie.
Stop smoking the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, if you smoke weed, if you have sex, you're gonna die.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah.
But my favorite kind of horror movie is the one where like it doesn't. I don't like jump scares. I think it's a cheap way to get a scare.
Yeah.
But like it's like because that'll scare somebody.
Right.
But like I like it when they're having a conversation and then they don't make a big deal out of it, but something in the background is just walking.
Oh yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That's my shit. I love that shit.
Electra Heart said Savage Land.
I've never heard of that.
I
haven't heard of that, but I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, I definitely need suggestions. What's
Also,
your favorite? What?
oh, no,
Go for it.
Well, I was just gonna say, if you like B-rated horror films,
Oh god,
what
more like
was-
D. I think I know where you're going with this.
maybe even like C-rated. I don't know exactly. I don't know if you'd call it C-rated or even D-rated, but you should definitely check out Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving, gobble gobble, motherfucker.
or Rubber. Don't just know what it's called. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. Just watch it.
Or Teeth. Teeth.
Teeth is good too.
Teeth
Yeah.
is actually a solid movie.
Yeah,
It is.
Teeth
I really
is
like
nice.
Teeth.
Zombievers. I don't know.
Zombie.
I haven't seen that one. After Dark reminded me of one. She said, if you look down in a bathroom, something will pop up in the mirror behind you. Also,
Oh, yeah.
if anyone ever opens a medicine cabinet,
Yeah.
Yes,
there's
true,
not going to be
yes.
a thing at first. You close it. There's always someone behind you.
Yes.
So that's, it's like 101.
That'd be a good Strangest video. Maybe we should do that. We should make a movie on scary movie cliches.
That would be really fun.
Yeah,
we could definitely do
have
that.
someone open a medicine cabinet and just like, the fuck you doing? After you shut it.
That'd be a fun one to act out. I like
Yeah.
that.
That you could almost make that into like a joke or
Yeah,
like a
make it into a comedy.
comedy.
Comedy sketch.
Electra Heart says Savage Land is a zombie movie, but the way it's done, it's like, oh, that's cool. I like that. I like the documentary.
found footage.
I like that. That's
Oh,
pretty neat.
gotcha. Okay.
So kind of like Blair Witch Project ish.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Have you ever seen?
VHS.
Have you ever seen Zombies?
No, but I've heard of it.
I can't remember if I've seen that one or not.
Zombies is it's a B C rated, but it's actually I really like it. It's from the perspective of the zombies, but they're humans, and then they eat the sludge that makes them zombies, and to them, everyone else is moving super fast. They can't understand what they're saying, and
I gotta watch this.
yeah, and they're all like, but from their point of view, all of the zombies are normal people, and everyone else is weird. But from everyone else's perspective, they're really slow and decrepit and shit. And they are convinced they have superpowers because they can't die. And they're like, dude, he just got his head cut off and he's fine. It's like, we got superpowers.
This like opened the door to a whole new theory. It's like they don't realize that they're evil. They're
Yeah,
not
exactly.
evil. Not like zombies are not necessarily evil. They're just brain dead. But it's like maybe like inside of their conscience, it's like they just think they're still normal and everyone else is going crazy. So what if this whole time, it's just like,
And that's the movie. It's really good. I like
that's
it.
cool. I need to see that.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I'd forgotten the title. But I did see that movie.
That's awesome.
That was pretty cool. A good concept for a movie.
It is good.
Sure.
Hey, Chris, how's it going? After Dark said she did a whole video on Teeth. Interesting film. That was one of my first like weird horror movies. I really
Let's check
enjoyed it.
that out.
Yeah, Teeth is wild.
Yeah, so we're going to be finishing up in about 5 minutes, but I'll finish on one of my favorite questions to ask. What is your favorite horror movie and why?
How are we supposed to answer this in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
We can go over a little bit.
You can give us enough time, Blake? Is that enough time?
I'll start with mine.
Okay.
Yeah, you kick us off.
John Carpenter's The Thing. It is.
Oh, that's a good one.
absolute
Yeah, I like
favorite.
that movie.
It's such a creepy movie. Not the remake. I don't like the remake. The remake sequel. I mean, it's okay, but it was all done with puppets, and puppets are so much scarier than CGI. CGI really takes me out of a movie unless it's done really well. But it's puppeteering. It's really gruesome. It's the thought of not being able to trust anyone around you, because anyone could be this monster. The monster turns into whoever it kills, and it can replicate their memories, their speech, everything.
Ooh, that's cool.
So, and they're like on a base in Alaska or Antarctica, I can't remember. But anyway, there's no one else around, so it's just like all of them not trusting each other and trying to survive. And it's a really good movie. It's really held up. It stars Kurt Russell, I think. Yeah.
So I initially was thinking of a different movie. I have not seen that. When you mentioned that, I thought it was something else. But now, no, I haven't. I actually need to watch that.
It's really good. I have it on DVD. It's very good. We'll have to do a movie night sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So if I had to, so I don't know if I guess you can consider this horror, but the movie You're Next, I think, is pretty high up on the list for me when it comes to that genre, just because it's something that could actually happen. There's nothing really paranormal about that movie. It's just a bunch of people being violently slaughtered in a house with no way to escape. And I think the possibility of it being real or saying that could actually happen makes the movie that much more interesting to me. Someone could bust through my window right now and murder me. So that's that's how we live. But yeah, I would have to go with Your Next. I think that's a good movie.
I've seen parts of it. I really need to rewatch it in full, but I really liked what I saw.
Yeah,
I like the turnaround where the good guy is like kicking ass. It's like it looks like it should be a horror movie, but then like the helpless person just is a total badass. Yeah, like the I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left, stuff like that.
Right.
I like that stuff. What about you, Ben? Janitor, Benjator.
I don't know. I mentioned it earlier, and I think it's pretty scary. And the concept's scary because it's happened to me, and I think it's one of the most interesting concepts in all of horror is sleep paralysis. So naturally, and I think everyone here has had it. I think, like you've mentioned, you've had it before. I've had it.
Yeah.
I think Jake's had it.
I've been there.
We've also done a video on that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Insidious just really grabbed me. Like that movie really grabbed me, and maybe it wasn't the scariest thing ever, but I think maybe when you have experienced it, and then it's a whole nother like level of like, oh wow, this is exactly not exactly, but this is fairly similar to what happened to me, and I'm super interested in the whole concept of sleep paralysis, the whole concept of being able to, allegedly step outside of the body and all this stuff. It's super fascinating. Like, I mean, it's just,
for sure.
So I would, in terms of recent, off the top of my head, I would probably say Insidious, the first one. That one really resonated. That one fucked with me.
I liked it too. And sleep paralysis is terrifying. Like you get used to it after a while.
You do.
But as far as I've never really believed in the out of body experience, but I did have one time where I could see where it could definitely be considered that.
Yeah.
It's like basically just it's like, have you ever had a lucid dream before?
Yes.
I haven't. No.
It's basically a lucid dream while you're doing sleep paralysis. You can just control what's happening. I have them anytime I have a bad dream. I can lucid dream because I just have it programmed in my head. Anything at least really weird. Like if I have a nightmare about a monster, I can automatically take over the dream because my brain's like, this isn't real. Yeah, now if it's something like I'm driving and my car goes off a bridge, I can't control that because it could happen. So it's weird. But if anything in my dream happens that's too out of the world, I snap in, and sometimes you can control it, but most of the time you just wake yourself up.
It's so fascinating because it's so fascinating to me that when you are lucid dreaming and you realize this is not real, I am dreaming. Like that's fascinating that your brain is able to tell you that, and you're able to like come to terms with, okay, now I can kind of control the outcome of this. And we actually had a teacher in high school, Miss McGregor. She talked about how she could control her dreams, and I thought she was just, thought it was just a bunch of crap.
Right.
And then when I started to have sleep paralysis, I noticed that like, oh, I can do this too. Yeah. I think I see what she was saying now. Like that's it makes sense. It's that concept it's frightening that you can think that while you're sleeping. It's just weird. I don't know. That's a whole other topic. We could go on for days about that.
After Dark says if sleep paralysis gets to you, try Mr. Jones. Everyone I know says it looks and feels just like an episode of it. Is that a movie?
Yeah. What is that?
Definitely.
It almost sounds kind of creepy, Mr. Jones.
But yeah, like a lot of people that get sleep paralysis also can lucid dream. So there is some kind of connection there.
Interesting. Anytime that I realize I'm dreaming in a dream, that realization causes me to wake up.
That exactly, and that's the bad thing. It's like you'll be like one time I had a flying dream, and I was able to lucid dream for like what felt like 30 seconds, and that was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But most of the time, once you realize it, you just wake up. Like it's not the same. It's not the same because it's not real. You don't enjoy it as much.
Right.
But a movie. Okay, I definitely need to look into that.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Mr. Jones.
So what are the movies we need to watch? Mr. Jones was it Savage Land? Savage Land?
Savage Land, yeah.
Yeah, Savage Land. I need to make a note of that.
And we gotta watch Chernobyl.
Yeah, and Chernobyl. Yeah,
Have you seen the Chernobyl Diaries?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's on Netflix. It came out a long time ago. It's naturally it's about Chernobyl. It's not the best. It's like a found footage movie.
Oh, nice.
But
that would be a good background information before starting the show. You know, that would be
just to get a little information on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is 8 o'clock. We've already killed through the script and everything. I didn't have a very long one, but I need to get your channel information, Jake. Do you have it, or have you already made it?
I have made the channel. Yeah, I can get you the link. Let's see here.
Yeah, send me the link and I'll go ahead and link it. And also, if you guys want to check out our gaming channel, I'll link that too. But yeah, do you guys have anyone in the chat have any questions for anyone here? And we'll close things up. Anything you need to know, we'll be glad to answer it. Sorry today was such a struggle, guys. It's usually two of us working on this, and it was just me, and Ethan does a lot of the script writing, all of the script writing. So I struggled a little bit today.
Okay. I think you did good.
Thank you.
Did a good job. You led us well. This is my first live stream.
Yeah, mine too.
I had a good time.
That was the biggest hour ever.
Good.
Like that
it was a
quick
hour.
So fast.
Yeah, so this is mine, and then let me get Tringe's.
I posted a link there right above yours, so you guys should see it there if you want the link.
Did it show up? Because a lot of times it won't show if you're not an administrator. Moderator. But I'm gonna figure it out.
It's on. Yeah, it's on ours.
It shows up in the chat for me, but maybe because I posted.
I'll send it just to be safe, so we know. And keep an eye out for Ben as well. He'll be having one coming out.
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll pop up in Jake's videos too. I'm always here.
Let's see here. Where'd my chat go? Where'd my chat go? I lost it. Oh no!
Thank you, After Dark. I appreciate that. See, I got my first. You're probably my first sub, and I don't even have my first video up yet, but it's coming. Just so you guys are aware, I'm not trying to compete with Blake and Ethan. My channel will not be based on spooky things. I'm gonna stick to mostly gaming content. So I'm a huge nerd. So
our side channels can collaborate. It'll be good.
We should do that. That would be sweet.
Yeah. So, do you guys have any closing thoughts? Nope.
I think we covered everything.
Yeah,
that was great.
This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. It was fun. And next week, if you guys will come back on, we'll do it again. And we'll cover, they want to cover creepy origins and stories that are based on songs or like subliminal messages, stuff like that.
Let's do it.
So we'll be talking about that next week. So keep an eye out. Subscribe to those channels. I hope you guys had a good night. I'm glad you guys hung out with us. Spending the Friday night with us is amazing. You guys are all amazing. Also, check us out on Twitter. Everyone's on Twitter. Just it's good. I think that information's in the description. But yeah, so thanks again for coming on, guys, and I hope you all out there have a great weekend.
Hey guys.
So
take care.
Until then, stay strange.